Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And in this video I'm going to discuss what is the best zoom lens for your landscape photography. Now first of all, you may even be wondering why I'm discussing zoom lenses in regards to landscape photography, and I'm not discussing primes, you know, because surely primes give you the better quality. Well, the reality is zooms offer convenience, and if you're shooting in weather like this, which is a very snowy Northumberland, a zoom lens is invaluable as it lets you change focal length. For example, on this lens is 28mm straight up to 75. I can change it just like that, and there's no change in lenses, no chance of moisture getting within the camera body, and basically it means it makes it safer to shoot. Okay, so if zooms offer the convenience, there must be a trade-off in image quality. Well, the reality is yes, primes normally are slightly sharper, and obviously primes generally tend to be a little bit faster so they can let more light in, so in low light situations a prime is a little bit more versatile. But the reality is you're shooting landscape photography on a tripod and you're going to stop down anyway, so really if you stop it down to f8, f10, f12, then the difference between using a zoom and a prime comes a little bit more moot. So whilst the prime technically is sharper, zoom lenses nowadays are actually exceptionally good. So first of all, I'm actually going to discuss three zoom lenses, the so-called Holy Trinity. Now, in case you didn't know, that covers a wide angle, which is normally 16 to 35mm, your normal standard zoom, which is roughly 24 to 70, and then a telephoto, which is about 70 to 200. Now, what these three lenses enable you to do is cover a huge focal range. Now, of course, this has huge benefits, but it also has disadvantages. If you carry all three of them, it's actually quite heavy. Of course, and sometimes you also have to change between your zooms. So sometimes you have to change from your wide angle to your standard to your telephoto. But ultimately, if you can carry your bag, and you can take the weight, which if you're carrying 2.8 zooms as opposed to the f4 zooms, can get extremely heavy. It does actually cover you for pretty much everything. But let's discuss the three lenses. Now, I've actually done three separate videos which covers all of these zooms, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But let's start off with the wide angle. Now, as you can see from the shots that are on the screen at the moment, a wide angle is great for exaggerated perspective and for really leading the viewer into the shot. You know, it's great for big vistas, but for a wide angle lens to work, you need really strong foreground. So if you're going to use this sort of lens, make sure you get a nice prominent foreground and give your shot maximum impact. But moving on, let's talk about the Swiss Army knife of the lens world, and that's your standard zoom. Normally 24 to 70, the one around me at the moment is 28 to 75. And really, it's a good walk around lens. You know, it will cover most things that you need. It's not the most exciting lens in the world, but it will enable you to take shots of pretty much anything. As you can see from the shots on the screen, it's a very versatile lens, and basically it covers from a moderate wide angle straight up to a moderate telephoto. It's a good all-rounder, and really every camera bag should own one. And last but not least, you have the telephoto zoom. Normally 70 to 200, you can get 70 to 300s. And this is great for pulling in that distant vistas. You know, most people think when shooting landscape photography, they don't really think about using a zoom lens. A telephoto is great for pulling in shots that you would just walk past with a normal lens. But using a telephoto, you can create nice abstracts. You can basically highlight little details of the whole vista. Wonderfully versatile, but heavy. And you know, that is the whole downside of the telephoto zoom. And it's the reason why I don't typically carry one. But what do you do if you can only have one lens? You know, what about if you work in conditions like this where it's snowing heavily and really changing lenses is going to be a bit dodgy, and you know, you just want to just shoot but not risk destroying your camera gear? Well, really, it has to be the standard zoom. 24 to 70mm is a great focal range. But what about if I told you that it is possible to get a lens with a little bit more reach on it, and that would be the 24 to 105, which comes quite often bundled in kit packages. And honestly, some of the modern 24 to 105mm lenses are absolutely amazing. Now, by using that sort of focal range, what you're still getting the nice wide 24mm, but then you're getting a bit more reach to 105, which is, you know, it's bordering a nice telephoto, good for portraits if you're into that sort of thing. And really, it is a very versatile walk-around lens. Now, as you'll see on the screen at the moment, I've used this lens for multi-day hikes where I've just basically taken one camera, one body, and I've walked around, and really the versatility it offers is wonderful. But there is one other type of zoom lens which may tick some boxes for you. It has its disadvantages, but it also comes with one big advantage. The lens I'm talking about has been loathed by serious photographers for years, and that's the super zoom. Now you can get something like a 24 to 200mm, Sony even make a 24 to 240mm, and that's a huge focal range. You know, you're talking wide angle, straight up to a proper telephoto. You know, it's equivalent of carrying your standard zoom and your telephoto all in one package. Now the good news is these lenses are now a lot better than they used to be. Now I came here last year and actually did a video review of the Nikon 24 to 200mm lens, and you know, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'll put a link to it now. And really, you can't underestimate how convenient it is to be carrying one lens which covers such a huge focal range. There are disadvantages. Basically, there's a trade-off in image quality. Image quality is good, but it's not as good as using your 3 different zooms, but you know, it's getting there. But the major trade-off is the aperture. Whilst your other zoom lenses may be an f2.8 or f4, basically by using a super zoom, you normally go into a variable aperture range, something like f4 to 6.7. That means if the light's dimming and you're using it handheld and you're zooming in, you're going to find that basically your ISO is going to go for the roof unless you're using a tripod, and then really it doesn't matter that much. But you're not going to freeze action with it. But still, it is a great lens for just walking around. And really, nowadays I'd have no hesitation in recommending just the one super zoom for general day-to-day landscape photography. Yes, if you want to get the best quality possible, use the 3 separate zooms. You could argue if you really want to get the best quality possible, use prime lenses. But as you can see, all these lenses come with disadvantages. And I've said this before in many of my videos. A lot of photography is about compromises, and it's about finding what you're willing to compromise to produce the results that you're happy with. So I hope this has helped you to understand what the options are for your zoom lenses and what could potentially be the best zoom lens for your photography. Now, I can't stand here and tell you to buy this or that, because really it's down to the way you work. We all have different pain thresholds and how much gear we want to carry. You know, if you're working from a car and you can afford it, just get yourself the holy trinity of 2.8 zooms and you're good for most things. But you know, if you like walking, or you know, if you don't want to carry loads of weight, or if you just simply can't afford it, maybe narrow it down to just the sort of standard zoom, or the 24 to 105, or even go for the super zoom. Really, the biggest thing is going to make your difference to the photography is you being able to walk around and you actually getting to the right locations at the right time in the right lighting conditions. The lens is just a tool. It's not going to make you a better photographer. It's just about finding that tool that you can work with the best. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Thanks for watching.